Hello there, morons. It's Victor, King of the Morons, with another laundry video. In this episode, the episode, of course, that you were not expected to watch, just listen to. I will be speaking about Robin Williams' death, my migraine headaches, and whether or not you should marry a Japanese woman. So I had a migraine yesterday. Still lingering there. I got the residual migraine. By the way, henzutsuu is the way you say migraine in Japanese. Henzutsuu. There you go. And about last night, it started coming on kind of early in the evening. It was hurting a little bit more, getting worse. I went to bed about 1 or so. Woke up at 3. So painful. I had to go downstairs and throw up, just to feel better, And stayed up trying to take my mind off my mind by playing around on the internet for a little while, because just laying down and groaning just seemed like a pathetic waste of time. So I played around on the internet for a couple hours, went to bed about 5:30, miserable, woke up at 10:30, still pretty much in pain. Found out that Robin Williams was dead. First initial reaction was, oh, what a fucking loser, what an asshole, But of course, this is anger, this is disappointment, this is loss. And I've told you before in previous videos that my gut reaction to suicide is it's selfish, it's cowardly. But of course, I know now that it's not that simple. And I'll tell you something. I don't think just to clear up that last comment I did. Oh, Maggie's in the camera. Just to clear up the reason I think that, or what gave me that initial. How I came to think that way was my girlfriend in high school's father committed suicide. And after he committed suicide, before he committed suicide, of course, he'd written notes all over the house blaming his ex-wife. So that even months and even years after the suicide, they would find these notes hidden in books under the couch, behind. He'd gone to incredible lengths to try to make his ex-wife feel guilty, saying it's all your fault. And my ex-girlfriend I think she had 4 sisters or 3 sisters. Let me see. She had 3 sisters, so there were 4 of them. And of course, she died when he killed himself. She was, I think, 2 years old or 6 months old. I don't remember. She was tiny, so she doesn't even remember him. But as a result, they grew up. They struggled growing up, right? They didn't have he didn't bring home the bacon, and that's one reason I got the idea that suicide is selfish, because of that story. Because when I was in high school, I being a typical high schooler, teenager, I thought, I toyed with thoughts of death as the hormones were eroding at my intellect, and for whatever reason. But later, of course, I understand that it's not that simple a matter, and it's not necessarily not an option, depending on the situation. And of course, we don't understand how other people feel exactly. And to be honest, I think if I were in some situation now that was going to bring me unbelievable pain, or something like, I don't know, Alzheimer's or something, or Parkinson's. Maybe not Parkinson's, but Alzheimer's. I might do it myself, or incurable cancer or something. I don't know. Save you quite a bit of time and energy and pain. And the other thing is, though, I think if you've lived a long, life, it's not as bad. I think kids who do it, death for a child is just sad for me to hear about that. Last week in Nagoya, a 17-year-old baseball player, he was at high school playing baseball, struck by lightning, killed, lingered in the hospital one day, died. That's sad. The kid didn't experience anything. Probably died a virgin, probably died never going to any countries, never experiencing love, or a billion other things he didn't experience. The virgin thing being not really high on my list, but still. If you're 17, I'm pretty sure it's probably high on his list. I died a virgin! But, Robin Williams was 63, born in 1951. 1978, he came out with Mork and Mindy Show. I was 10 years old. And I remember watching that show and being thoroughly amused. And all the kids are Nanu Nanu. Was it? No, that's Spock. Was it? What was the Nanu Nanu sign? No, this is Spock, right? What was the Nanu Nanu sign? I forget. God, what was Nanu Nanu? Anyway, they used to say Nanu Nanu, Nanu Nanu, and that show kind of fell apart when Jonathan Winters, I think, he gave birth to Robin Williams' kid, or I don't remember, some weird thing happened. It jumped the shark towards the end. But then Robin Williams came out with a stand-up show. I remember, I think I was, my late teens, and no, it could have been late teens. I was probably 16 or 17. And I was just amazed. You could see him interacting with the audience, and I thought, wow, this is amazing. I've never seen a human being's mind work this quickly. It was beyond me to when I witnessed that. And you could tell it wasn't scripted because he's interacting with the audience and grabbing people's cameras off the audience and putting it in his pants, saying, "Oh my God, it's an anaconda!" Things that, of course, were juvenile and very funny for me. But of course, looking back, the show, it's still funny even today, even though I'm not a juvenile and I'm not into dick jokes as much. Though of course I do my best to. For some reason recently, I've been able to work some genitalia expression or words or slang into every video. But I've always been impressed with the way his mind worked, and I realized then that he wasn't like me, and he wasn't like most people. I'm sure it wasn't just me who realized that. I'd never seen a mind work that fast. And I remember reading that he when he took cocaine, it slowed him down, and I thought that must be the way, like, kids who if you take Ritalin, if you're a normal person, it makes you like really like hyper, but if you're a hyperactive kid and you take Ritalin, it slows you down. It must have been something like that, I imagine. And he was with John Belushi the night John Belushi OD'd. Apparently that changed his life. That was one of his turning points in his life, and he realized that he had to change his ways, But anyway, and I know there are a lot of people out there like Robin Williams, and maybe not all of them are comedians or entertainers. I once I don't know if you guys know about this. I may have mentioned it once or twice in previous videos, but I'm really interested in stand-up comedy. I think it's a daring thing to do. And some of the people who have brought me the most joy in my life as entertainers have been stand-up comedians. People like George Carlin, Bill Burr, of course, C.K. Lewis, Steve Martin, Eddie Murphy. Growing up, Eddie Murphy and Robin Williams, I think, were the funniest things I'd ever seen on TV. They were just so funny, and both just their minds work so quickly, right? The Delirious and Hilarious and all those shows. I don't remember Robin Williams' show, but it was live at something, I think. Maybe Carnegie Hall, I don't know. Anyway, when it was an adult show, and the thing about all these comedians, except George Carlin, is that they all try to do different things. They all seem to use a stand-up as a starting off point, but they wanted to branch out and do other things like act. And a lot of them became, and some people did even other things. You branched out even farther. Like Steve Martin became a professional Grammy-winning banjo player, actor, writer. I don't know if he directed paint expert. Like he knows everything about, not paint expert. I'm sorry, paint. This kind of paint takes 10 minutes to dry. No, an art expert. So they've all changed. They're not defined by just stand-up comedy. But I guess when your mind works like that, you're easily bored, maybe. I don't know. Well, they're not like us, is what I'm trying to say. They're not like you and me. They smart, we dumb, basically is what I'm saying. I once met Bob Saget. Oh, yeah, because I like stand-up comedy. So every time I go to New York or the States, anywhere there's a comedy club, I do my best to take in a comedy show. And I was once at a comedy club a few years ago visiting my uncle in Los Angeles. And I would go alone because nobody wanted to go with me. It's my thing, I guess, in my family. And I saw Bob Saget perform, and he was amazing. I don't know if you guys know, but he's the guy from Full House and I think favorite family home videos and stuff. And if you only know him from those shows, you might think he's rather boring, nothing special. He's just a Family Guy, kind of clean cut. But his show is very adult and very funny. And he's also very quick. He's as quick as Robin Williams. And after the show, he was signing autographs and shaking hands and saying thank you. But everyone had gone away, but a few people lingered, just getting the autographs and stuff. And I walked over to him and I just wanted to say, I was so impressed with the show. I just said, I'm sorry to bother you, but something like that. I don't remember. It was years ago, but I've never seen anyone's mind move as fast as yours since Robin Williams. I said that to him, and that seemed to catch his attention because he looked up, and I didn't know that they knew each other. He goes, "Hey, Robin's a great friend of mine." So and I really appreciate that compliment. Thanks a lot. And he reached out and shook my hand, and I thought that was kind of cool, right? And they were similar, and they're both actors and comedians as well. But I think I've watched speeches that Jim Carrey has given and Robin Williams has given, and you can tell in their speeches, if you can pick up the frustration that they feel by being grouped with other actors, or not given a category for comedy, right? Excuse me, just getting a little warm in here. And I've seen that, I can tell that they've been frustrated. And they say a lot of comedians feel a lot of pain growing up, right? Robin Williams was an only child, apparently. So he said it was just me and the puppet. So he was lonely, and there's a lot of pain in the formation of a funny man, I guess. Maybe that's why the brain gets a lot of exercise, because he's alone at home, so he's got to work it out himself. I don't know. But I always thought that maybe that was part of the downfall, or maybe that's part of the frustration they feel, is that they cannot break out of that stereotype sometimes. You see very few of them become truly accepted. The really funny guys never truly get accepted as serious actors, right? Of course, yes, Rob, I know, before you correct me in the comments, I realize all of these guys have tried to do serious roles in the movies, right? And some of them have done great jobs, but generally speaking, even when they've done their greatest work, it's been generally panned or not received. You don't refer to them as one of the great actors. None of the great actors were ever comedians. Marlon Brando was never a stand-up comedian. Jack Nicholson was never. Any great actor you can name, he was never a stand-up comedian. But, of course, there are stand-up comedians who are great actors, but they're not the people. They're not your go-to examples when you think of great actors. And they must be frustrating. Accent. Frustrating. It must be frustrating for them. So who knows, what he was feeling. And when I heard he died of asphyxiation, my first thought was, I hope... this is going to sound ridiculous, but maybe he died like David Carradine. He was messing around sexually, pleasing himself and putting a bag over his head. Whatever they did, it's some kind of some kind of oxygen deprival technique that heightens the orgasm, apparently. And I was hoping, that wouldn't be so bad. It was just a goof, but it's better than taking your life on purpose, right? Isn't it? Or is it? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, it's sad. He was an inspiration. He was a great, he's Dead Poet Society, I gotta say, one of the best, right? But again, like I say, when people think of great actors, very few people ever say Robin Williams was the best. But I heard he was going to do Mrs. Doubtfire 2. They're going to do a sequel, and I was thinking, wow, that's horrible. And part of me thought maybe that's why he killed himself, which is, I know it's a horrible thing to think, but that's just the way my mind thinks. Yeah. Anyway, so it's sad that Robin Williams is dead, and I'm sorry he died. And can't say he's in a better place. But at least whatever pain he had, obviously, he's not feeling it now. I really feel bad for everybody. I feel like people like that, who touch so many people and become famous like that and bring so much joy in the world, they no longer have a right to commit suicide like normal losers like us. That was my another fleeting thought I had going through my brain about this. Anyway, and his wife, she must have been, his kids. Well, yeah, I'm sad about it. Okay. Okay, well, let's go on to the other things I had to mention. Okay, talked about my migraine, talked about Robin Williams. Okay, so the last laundry video I did, and I wasn't gonna do one tonight, but the last laundry video I did. Oh, here's a funny thing. I'll do something funny. Regan, as you guys know, Regan from Japan with Regan has been appearing on my channel quite a bit recently. He told me he was going to hitchhike to Tokyo today, and he asked me any advice. I said, yeah, be blonde and a woman. And because the last time I hitchhiked in Japan, it was 20 years ago or so, and I did it successfully because I was with a girl who was blonde and female. Most girls are. And when I was alone, it didn't work. So he tried for 1 hour and got nowhere. Hopefully he'll make a video about it. Check out his channel. Something coming soon, I'm sure. And we have some interview videos coming up on jaywalking videos coming up on my channel soon too, so keep your eyes out for those. Now, in the last laundry video, I talked about a 31-year-old guy who wanted to marry a 39-year-old woman, or was thinking about it, and he asked me for my advice. And of course, I know nothing about him, but I gave him my advice anyway, which was run for the hills. And after that, I got an email from someone who I will not name. I will just say that I'll give the first initial W. We'll just call him W, okay? So he knows I'm talking about him. So W, he's contacted me before. Nice guy. He's been a loyal subscriber for many years. And he says that it's his dream to come to Japan and marry a Japanese woman. Now first though, he's kind of upset by my last video, saying that a lot of Japanese women stop having sex after marriage. I should have said they stop having sex with their own husbands. Isn't that terrible? But partially true. It depends on you and how much you put into the relationship. And I know one of the problems with marrying someone from a different culture is that often the man is expecting something from the woman, and the woman is expecting something from the man that is different from their own culture. So let's be very clear. Often a Japanese woman, when she marries a foreign man, is expecting him to be a little bit more romantic and less gender specific in the way he behaves. Like Japanese men are known for treating wives in a very male. I want to say sexist way, but for example, give me a beer, never do housework, work all day, right? But when they marry a foreigner, they're thinking it's not going to be that way. He's going to help out with the housework. He's going to help out with the kids. He's not going to work all day. But at the same time, a lot of foreign men marry Japanese women thinking that they're going to be more subservient than American or Western women or whatever. So there's that problem. Now, I actually talked with my wife before we got married about all these things that people said might happen, and said that's not going to happen to us, right? So yeah, and also we got married. She was young, but I got married after calming down a little bit, So I didn't have that kind of testosterone pressure that a lot of men have, I guess, when you get married young. I guess that's more of a pressure. You're not able to control the hormones as much. But anyway, what W wants to know is it true? Is this true? The issue of lack of sex in a couple's life, in which the wife is Japanese. Really bad writing, man. But okay. Do they actually reject their husband approaching them in the middle of the night, wishing for intimacy? Approaching. I don't think anybody. Do many men approach their women in the middle of the night? Do you wake up your wife? Hey, let's do it. Shouldn't that be done before going to sleep? Gradually, having a good, nice, maybe take your wife out for dinner or have a nice glass of wine or something. Have some conversation. But it sounds like approach her in the middle of the night. It sounds like you're just like stopping a passerby. Strange writing here, but anyway. So he wants to know if they actually reject you, or am I saying that they don't initiate sex? Many Japanese women initiate sex. So that's not really what I was saying. Apparently, sex just stops being had. I will even go as far as to say that it's not necessarily Men that I've talked to, a lot of married men I've talked to, have made it sound like it's her decision. Yeah, that's basically what they've said. But they didn't give me details, and I didn't really ask, so I don't know. But my impression is that they do not want to have sex with their husband anymore, or maybe they behave in such a way that makes the man not want to have sex with them. For example, if I were to say to you, if you're a woman and I were to say to you, "Hi, honey, hey, honey, you want to fool around?" And if you were to answer, "Sure, I guess so," then immediately my desire to fool around with you would be minimal at best. It would dissipate to zero. So of course, if it might be possible that some women react that way, and that makes the men not want to have sex with them. But of course, she's kind of controlling it. She's kind of saying, "Yeah, sure, I guess so if you want," or make it quick or something. So W goes on to say, to flat out refuse sex, how can any man live with that? Well, because there are other things in the world. I have talked to men who are married, and I've I guess said something similar to them, and they've told me, well, there are other things to be honest, other things to think about. A friend of mine said, I'm too tired. I work all day, and we have the kids. So they take all the energy out of it. And we're not really feeling sexual. So. And the other thing that you really got to think about is that in Japan, if you do get divorced, there's amazing problems with wanting to see your children if your wife is against you. If your wife does not want you to see your kids, you're not going to see your kids. So getting divorced is really a problem in Japan for people who have couples. That's another really important factor. There is a video in Japan. There's a video here. The video on YouTube that you cannot see if you're in Japan. It's by Journeyman Films or something, and you can't watch it. But and actually, one of my subscribers sent it to me. But someone sent me. I told him I couldn't see it, and he sent me a different link. So I will try to include that. Where the hell is it? I'll try to include that in the description, and yeah, you can watch it. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know where the hell that video is now, but I'll find it. Anyway, yeah, that's a major problem. So it isn't that easy. I mean, which is what's more important to you, having sex or seeing your kids ever again? I think for a lot of us, sex is not that important after a while. If those are your options. Of course, it's not ideal. Ideally, you get both, right? But let me see. This is what he says. I cannot imagine, and it would be a basis for divorce in my case. Okay, and meaning it's a deal breaker for him. How can she love me and not sleep with me? I don't know, man. Women are different. You know that. Isn't sex that ultimate indication of a healthy relationship? No. Ultimate indication? No. I don't think it's the ultimate. It is one indication, but I wouldn't say the ultimate. I think there are other things that are more important than that. But don't Japanese women know of make-out sex, which solves many problems between a man and a woman? Maybe he meant make-up sex. First of all, sex never solves any problem between a man and a woman. If anything, sex causes problems between a man and a woman. Yeah. If your problem is you're not getting sex, and if that's your biggest problem, then that's not a healthy relationship, I think. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, that's my opinion. Then he says, if this is really a real problem in Japan, then I wouldn't be surprised that cheating and prostitution would be a real issue in Japan. Cheating and prostitution is a real issue in every country. So, yeah, that's kind of silly, I think. So he says, I want to hear your weight on this subject. There are many blogs about this, and here's the ultimate truth about this situation. It doesn't matter what I say, and it doesn't matter what everyone says. Statistics are not applicable to your particular situation. You are not a statistic. Yes, it's possible that this will happen to you too. But it's also possible that you're not going to be one of those people. So, yeah. There you go. I mean, if you want to give up because of statistics, then fine, give up. But if you find a woman that you love, and the other thing that bugs me about this whole email, sorry, W, is that I didn't marry my wife because she was Japanese. I could care less that she was Japanese. She happened to be Japanese, and I fell in love with her. So your desire to marry a Japanese woman to me sounds, well, I don't want to. I just want to say it. That annoys me. That's one of the. She's got to. I feel like she's got to be Japanese. No, she doesn't. She's got to be. That shouldn't be your. That shouldn't be the first thing on your list. The first thing on your list should be. The first thing on your list should be you love her, and you want to spend the rest of your life with her. And if she happens to be Japanese, then great. Yeah, I don't think she has to be Japanese. People are people. At the end of the day. Bottom line is, people are people, so it really doesn't matter what nationality or anything she is. I think if anything, it's going to be harder for you because you come from different cultures. I would shoot for someone in your own culture if you want to play the statistics game. Shoot for someone in your own culture. Shoot for someone who's younger than you. Shoot for someone who has the same goals, same religion, all that stuff. If you want something safe. That's my 2 cents on the whole subject. Thanks for listening for this another long-ass laundry video. Everyone, thanks for watching, and remember to always live large. And good luck.